What's up, hockey players, friends, and fans? Coach Tyler here, Strocheck Hockey Skills. Going to go over another couple drills here while we're stuck at home due to the COVID-19. We're going to stick with shooting on this one, and we're also going to stick with our forehand. Couple things I want to go over before I start showing the drills here. We're going to work on some of the fundamentals to shooting off of your forehand. I know a lot of people are probably sitting there watching this video right now going, well, I shoot off my forehand all the time. We all do. But while we're at home, there's nothing wrong with going back to some of those fundamentals to getting a good shot off and working on them from there. Now, the thing about the drills that I'm going to show you today is one of them, you're going to shoot off of one leg. The other one, you're going to shoot off the other leg. Hockey today has obviously changed a substantial amount from even 10, 15 years ago. You have players shooting off of their off leg now. You have players shooting mid-stride. You have players shooting all over the place. It's a really good thing to work on, being able to shoot off of both legs. So with that being said, there's a couple things that I really want to go over with these two drills. One being the same thing that I always emphasize to players, and that is knee bend. Every drill you do, on ice, off ice, doesn't matter. You need to have knee bend. As hockey players, knee bend is very, very critical to speed, strength, acceleration, all three of those things. Maintaining proper form and maintaining your knee bend when you're on the ice, when you're doing drills, this is all going to transfer into your game. Ultimately, where us hockey players want it. You want your work to shine when it needs to shine. So with that being said, again, knee bend, number one. Number two, puck placement. A lot of young players nowadays get in the habit. I've seen it months upon months of coaching at the rink. You see these players who they want to get these top shelf shots every time, but what they're not realizing is they're trying to take shots off the toe. Bad move. We don't want to take shots off the toe. There are going to be times where it's just going to happen that way, but if you can prevent it, you're going to get a lot more accuracy and you're going to get a lot more speed behind your shot by starting here on the heel of the stick. So we're going to work on, again, going back, we're working on proper knee bend. We're working on puck placement, making sure that puck is coming off, starting on the heel of the stick. And then we're going to move into what would be called weight transfer. Weight transfer is going to start from one leg. It's going to move over into the next leg. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about before I take some shots so you know what I'm talking about. And number 4 on the fundamental list is going to be our follow through with our shot. How we're transferring our weight through. How our stick is moving through the shot. How we're including flex. The flex of our stick into our shots. A lot of players nowadays, Bantams and below, they don't get into their flex on their stick. Some of that is to do with the simple fact that muscle is still developing, etc. But typically younger players use smaller number flex sticks. So they should still be able to get into the flex of their stick. Correct follow through with your shot, meaning from beginning of the shot to end of the shot. We're going to go over all of those things today. So here we go. Number one, we're going to work on our forehand shot with what I like to call my body facing east-west. Okay? Now, for the purpose of me showing you this right now, I'm going to pretend that north, south, west, east. Now, I'm doing this because I'm looking at the camera. I'm going to turn my compass once I turn to facing the net. So starting from here, if I'm trying to shoot with my body facing east and west, I am going to turn this way. My stick is still to the side, but now I'm facing the other way. So when I'm doing this is more your traditional shot. You see a lot of players, especially with off-ice skills, you see a lot of players shoot this way. And I see a lot of players on ice shoot this way as well. Knee bend, we're here, and we pull back, drive through, shooting that way, okay? Now, that's going to be the first drill. But the second drill, I'm going to turn my body this way, north and south. My stick is still coming back this way, and now I'm following through here. Now, to show you the drills, I'm going to face my net. So my net is north of me, okay? I'm going to face that way, and I'm going to turn my body so my body is facing east and west. I'm going to take the puck, being right here, proper knee bend, always proper knee bend. We're going to bring the puck back, and we're going to follow through. Now, a couple things I want you to focus on while you're doing this. 1, again, knee bend. 2, hand placement. I don't want to see hands up here. This is going to decrease power and decrease flex option. We want to move the hand down a little bit. Average gauge is about middle of the stick. So if you look at middle of the shaft, anywhere from there, I would say about 3 inches either way. So some players I've noticed they're a little more lower on their shot. Some players are right in that middle point of the stick, and some players are a little high. You don't really want to go too high though. You're going to decrease your power. Okay? So we're going to be here. We're going to have our hand placement. We're going to have our knee bend. And if you notice, when I shoot, my weight transfer is starting from my back leg, which is right back here on this part. After I'm following through, my weight is transferring from one leg to the other leg, and then the back leg is then coming up at the back end of my shot. So in fast motion, weight transfer, up. Again, we're here, pull back, weight is on this leg, transfer, shot. Pull back, weight is on this leg, transfer, shot. Now, we're going to do that drill just like that over and over and over and over and over again. You can never shoot too much. So you're going to want to take your shots like that, again, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, however much you want to do your drills. Do the drill however long you can do it. All that I'm trying to say is the more work you put in, the more output you're going to get out of it. So again, facing our net, we have the puck ready to go. We're going to turn our body. We're going to get that nice good knee bend going. And we're going to sit, we're going to be here. We're going to draw back. Weight is going to draw back to the back leg. And as we follow through, again, starting the puck on the heel of our stick, we're going to follow through. And our back leg is then going to shoot up. Okay, now, on the second half of that shot, when you're following through, so when we're following through, we're about here. Hands should be out in front. Our weight is then transferring from back leg to front leg. And once we come through, where does our stick go? Too many players nowadays I see shoot this way, and then their stick just travels upward. We don't want to do that. A rule that I was taught when I was younger that I still follow to this day, the tip of your stick should be the crosshairs. Should be that cross where you're looking to aim. You want to point the toe of that stick where you're trying to aim that puck. It's not always going to hit directly where you're going to aim, but it's going to hit in the vicinity if you are doing your shots correctly. So by doing this, we're here, we're back, starting on the heel, transferring through, hands are coming out in front. We're then pushing through the middle of that stick. With our bottom hand is pushing through the stick. And once we get out of our shot, we're pointing our toe at where we want that shot to go. Now, I'm going to take a couple shots here, and I just want you to watch how I'm doing this. Okay? Here we go. Knee bend, start up, bring back, shot. Back, back up, shot. Back, shot. Now, one thing you'll notice, I'm hitting the top left corner every time. That's where I'm pointing. I'm pointing to the top left corner every time. I have my knee bend, I'm transferring my weight from back leg to front leg, I'm following through with my shot, and I'm also putting the flex of my stick and letting the stick go to work. That's the biggest thing I can say. Try to get into the flex of that stick. Now, after you've done that drill a handful of times, you feel like, you know what, kind of ready to move on to something different. Let's move on to the second part. Second part of this drill, which is going to be the second drill, we're turning our body. But aside from turning our body, now we're shifting what leg we're taking our shot off. Now, before we were here doing that traditional style of shooting where you're here, back leg is starting with the weight on it, you're transferring your weight into your front leg, and then you're lifting up that rear leg. So it's coming up, boom, all my weight is here on this leg. My foot is up, my weight is on this leg right here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to, again, hook's going to be out right here on the side of us. Okay, so right here on the side, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring it back, and instead of transferring that weight from one leg to the other, now we're going to keep that weight on the inside leg. So on this scenario, I'm a left-handed shooter, the weight's going to stay on my left leg. And I'm going to bring it back, and then I'm going to pop up, and as I follow through, my right leg is going to come up. Keep in mind the side view of this. If I'm here, again, puck is starting on the heel of my stick. Once I'm halfway through, hands are out in front, and that bottom hand is pushing through the stick, and I'm then pointing. Okay? So I'm going to take a couple shots here, and I want you to focus on how I'm getting those shots off. So we're here, again, nice knee bend, bring back, up, back, up, back, up. Now, you may feel like, when am I going to be using a shot like that? Well, there's multiple scenarios that you're going to use a shot off of your off leg. I call this my off leg. I'm a left-handed player. I am so used to shooting off of my right leg. So that's the only reason why I call it an off leg. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you're weaker. It doesn't mean it's not going to do as well. All that it means is it's not the one that you normally shoot off of. Now, what this is going to be able to create is this is going to be able to create a deception on the goalie. A lot of goalies, especially in the younger youth hockey programs, leagues, divisions around the world, around the country, a lot of goaltenders, they're very one-dimensional with how they're watching a player. So you can really start to fake a goalie out if you're doing different things. Now, what this is going to help you do is if I'm coming down and you're the goalie, and I'm skating down the ice, stride, 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 and I'm on my inside leg right now because I have it over to my forehand side, I bring it over, boom, and I would appear that I would be bringing it back to my backhand again, or that I would turn if I was getting ready to shoot. But now let's say I bring it over, boom, off that inside leg. Shot off, goalie doesn't see it coming, snipe, okay? So what this allows you to do is it allows you to bring another dimension into your shot. It allows you to deceive people with your shot. It allows you to be able to shoot off of both legs instead of one. As a hockey player, every player should want to be all around skilled, all around, in every aspect. This is one tiny aspect of your shot that you can work on at home that's going to give you a little bit of an edge out on the ice and in the game. So by doing that, again, this way, we're working on our traditional shot, which is never a bad thing. You're working on power, you're working on accuracy, but most importantly, we want to work on those fundies. We want to work on the knee bend. We want to work on the weight transfer. We want to work on the puck placement. We want to work on all of those things that when you're out there in practice and you're doing warm-ups before a game, you may not be thinking about all the fundamentals that go into your shot. When you're at home and you have the time and you're by yourself or with a friend or a teammate or whatever, and you can really dig down into the fundamentals of what you're trying to do, you can focus on your form. So those four things should help. Again, knee bend, puck placement on the stick, weight transfer, and correct follow through with our shot. okay? And then turning to the other way, which would be facing directly at your target, chest facing towards your target. And now we're going off that off leg. Now we're gonna shoot off that inside leg, almost like we're in stride, or maybe, like I said, we're here with the puck, and then we bring it over. Goalie's gonna think we're gonna bring it back to the backhand, boom, quick snap. Okay, so there's that deceiving part of it. So you're working on shooting off of both legs. You're working on your hand placement, which is never a bad thing. Remember, we want to work that flex of that stick. Okay, these sticks nowadays, these flex points on these sticks, you should be able to really, really get into those shots and really rip through that flex. Make sure you are doing the necessary things to figure out what is the right flex for you. This goes all the way from youth players up to adults. We want to make sure we're using the right flex on a stick. I hear so many people nowadays, yeah, I like that flex. Yeah, that flex works for me. And then you see them out there and they're taking shots like they're using a tree trunk. Or they're taking shots like they're using a Q-tip. You know, it's just bending all the way back. That's too much flex. A tree trunk, that's not enough flex. You have to work within what you can do, and you have to do things the right way. If you follow those two guidelines, repetitions will make everything come. Doing drills like this at home, working on your form, working on all those things that we've already went over in this video, doing that stuff while making sure that you have the right piece of equipment and that you have the right flex, maybe your curve, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Your lie, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you can get into with a stick. Just make sure you're at least taking the time to do your research and figure out what flex, what stick, what curve, what kick point. All those things are right for you. So again, make sure we're going over the fundies of how to shoot, knee bend, weight transfer, puck placement, correct follow through, form. Make sure we're working on our form with our shots. Putting in the time for our drills, making sure we're not just doing this for 20 seconds and, oh, you know what, I hit top corner 3 times in a row. I don't need to do this. You guys, NHL hockey players still take shots upon shots upon shots every day. You can never shoot a puck enough. Number 3, we need to make sure we are focused on what we're doing and not just out here ripping shots. Yeah, sometimes it's okay to go out, grab a couple pucks, and just rip some shots at the net. No problem. But if you're wanting to truly work on your shot, this is the way to do it right here. Setting up drills for yourself, putting time limits on those drills for yourself, pushing yourself, putting extra time in when you feel like maybe you're good. Maybe put an extra 5 minutes of work in. Those types of things are what are going to separate you from the pack. Now, as a hockey player, I always wanted to be the best player on the ice that I could be. So I strived for that every single day. Hopefully, all of you are doing the same. I hope everyone's staying safe out there. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, follow me on IG, Coach Ty Strocek, and Facebook, Strocek Hockey Skills or Tyler Strocek. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.